But if it is to share power with the white community, which apparently has emerged as the new thinking on the part of Britain, that of course we shall resist.
May I have this dance? It's a long way to Mukumbura. It's a long way to Joe. It's a long way from your hometown, but you can have yourselves a ball with your muckers. Goodbye, Bulawayo. Dodgy says on square. It's a long, long way to Mukumbura, and we're going up there to stir. It's a long way to Jokinyanga.
Rhodesia was this little landlocked country just north of South Africa, which is now modern-day Zimbabwe. But it started out as a British colony, established in 1923, named after Cecil Rhodes, who expanded into this region in the late 1800s. These colonies worked as having the white minority rule over the black majority population. Of course, this led to racial discrimination being rampant in the country. Reminds me of another country in the 1960s. The man in the beginning of the video was Robert Mugabe. Mugabe was completely against white rule and only wanted black rule over the country. He rivaled Joshua Nkomo, who held similar beliefs. But on the other side was Prime Minister of Rhodesia, Ian Smith. Ian Smith opposed black rule and believed it would fail if it ever happened. Now, around this time, in 1964, war broke out in Rhodesia when Great Britain started decolonizing and Rhodesia declared itself as its own state, yet nobody recognized it as one. On one side was the Rhodesian government, and on the other was the ZANLA, the military of Robert Mugabe's ZANU party, and Joseph Nkomo's ZAPU party. ZANU, Mugabe, ZAPU, Nkomo. ZANU was backed by the People's Republic of China, and ZAPU was backed by the Soviet Union. Hence both parties generally carried Soviet-era weapons such as the AK-47, RP-46, PPSH, and whatever else they can find. Take a look at this bloke. The average roadie loadout consists of short shorts and the Fabrique Nationale FAL, chambered in .308, sometimes referred to as the right arm of the free world. Throughout the war, surrounding countries such as Mozambique and Zambia gained independence from their colonizers and wanted to fight against the white minority rule in Rhodesia. This created entirely new fronts for Rhodesia. Rhodesia campaigned into Mozambique and performed Operation Eland. Operation Eland consisted of around 80 Rhodesian troops disguising themselves as guerrillas, sneaking into a large enemy base, then killing over 1,000 enemy combatants. This only escalated the conflict, and like any war, this one is full of war crimes. In September of 1978, ZIPRA, the military wing of ZAPU, shot down an airplane containing mostly civilians. Then after the wreckage, the fighters shot any survivors still standing. Surely Rhodesia can do no wrong, right? Rhodesian forces used chemicals against their enemies in 1978 that contaminated water, supplies, and food that any guerrilla fighters may use in hopes of eliminating them. It was clear Rhodesia couldn't win this war, and a deal was made between both sides which birthed the new country of Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, but didn't last long due to many complications. Instead, Robert Mugabe became the president of the new Zimbabwe.
From Rhodesia.
We say Zimbabwe now, don't we?
Rhodesia is no more, and Robert Mugabe is now leading Zimbabwe. The first few years of Mugabe's rule was alright, as it was pretty good for farmers, but the people of Zimbabwe were angry that their land was still owned by white farmers. So, Mugabe decided to evict these white farmers, sometimes violently, and gave the land to the people of Zimbabwe. Mugabe didn't think to actually teach these new owners how to farm, so there was a lot of good land not being put to use. Now people had no food or money to support themselves. After this, Mugabe proved to be an interesting leader.
We are not gays.
He repeatedly stole elections and was considered a dictator. He also caused the Zimbabwean dollar to lose all of its value. In 2017, Mugabe was forced to resign, or he would be impeached, so he ended up resigning. 2 years later, he died at the age of 95. These events were not that long ago, so it still affects Zimbabwe to this day. Like other poor African countries, China is building infrastructure for them, but putting them in unpayable debt. Since they can't pay this debt, China basically owns that country. Looking at this whole situation makes you think what Zimbabwe could have been. If Rhodesia had won the war, would the country be at least decent today? Maybe if anyone but Mugabe took power, would it have been a rich country or similar to its current state now? I guess we'll never know.
That's for breaking my TV, bro.